it's Jess here from the Scrappy Sisters, and thank you for joining me. Today I am creating a layout using a challenge from the Kidaholics Kits online September crop that they had. This was a recipe challenge, and I'm not going to lie, the minute I read this, I went, oh my goodness, that is so hard. So it required you to use the word Footloose either in the title or in the journaling. You had to use the colour maroon. You had to use shoe ephemera, sequins, and 2 photographs. So I instantly knew I was going to use these 2 photos I had of my husband in a running race that he did. Thank goodness I had not scrapped these photos yet because I had no idea what other photos I would use. But in terms of shoe ephemera, I had zip, nada, nothing. So I thought that's okay. I'm going to jump online and I'm going to look up free trainers, runners, running shoe cut files, and I did find a whole bunch. Actually, there were tons. So if you ever need free trainer running shoe cut files, just put that in your search engine in Google. There are a whole bunch. But yeah, so I went with these. It's the same one twice. I just stuck one down on its toe and one down on the heel and cut the front of the toe off. So I got that and went, okay, that can be my shoe ephemera because I don't have anything else. In terms of the colour maroon, no, I don't have anything maroon. Okay, I'm going to get a maroon piece of pattern paper and I'm going to map my photo with that because, not my photo, my cut file, because I don't know how else I'm getting the colour maroon onto this page. So I did that. And then I thought I would use the Pick Me Up collection by Paige Evans because it sort of has this navy and maroon feel in some of its papers. And I'm like, okay, at least I can kind of tie it in a little bit. But then I was worried as well because when I looked at the ephemera, it's very feminine. And this is supposed to be a layout about my husband. But I thought, you know what, I'm just going to roll with it. It'll be fine. So I've got these 2 pictures of my hubby. One is the professional photo that we found online at the start of the race when he's just taking off. And the other one is also a professional photo, but in a minute when I turn them over, you'll see it's not that same kind of caliber of professionalism. It's kind of like the organizer at the end snapping the photo because it's as he crosses the finish line and he was the winner of the 10K. Yay! So I definitely needed to document these 2 photos. You can definitely see a difference in the quality of the 2 photos. One is clearly a professional photograph and one is clearly a mobile snap, but they were 100% worth documenting and needed to be on the same page. So I'm super happy that I've got 2 of those because that ticks that requirement. I'm happy that I've got my cut files because that ticks the shoe ephemera requirement. At a stretch, I'm just sticking with it. And then I used the maroon colour to create the shoes. So yes, there we go. There's some of the recipe done. So then I stick all that on. The piece of paper, by the way, that I'm using, I did not do the watercolour in the background from that. It is a Vicky Bouton's foundation page, so she gets all the credit for that one. And now I'm going to have a play with the Pick Me Up ephemera. There's that circle tag that's still in the container that says, I think it says I'm doing this for me, and it's got a female stretching. But I'm like, I am 100% using that because that is exactly Matthew's sentiment. He was doing this for him. He was overdue a hip replacement at this stage. He was really starting to play up. He would have loved to have done a marathon, but that was never going to happen with his hips in the state that they were in. So that was it. He was going to run this 10K and he was going to smash it, all just for his own bucket list. So that piece of ephemera, the minute I saw it, I'm like, that's going on the page. I don't care that it's a girl on the ephemera. The sentiment of that is exactly what this race was all about. So it was like the first piece that was heading on. I knew that straight away. So I'm really happy with that, actually. You can probably hear how excited I am by that piece of ephemera. So I was really glad because I didn't actually pick this collection based on that ephemera. I picked this collection based on the colours, and then I was really glad to find that piece of ephemera in it. I wish I knew all the bits and pieces inside the collections better, but anyway. And then I found these 2 shoes. Now, they're totally flip-flops. They are not running shoes at all, but I was like, I'm not really sure a cut file counts as ephemera, so I'm just going to put these flip-flops on the page, even though they're completely random, so that I can legitimately say I have got shoe ephemera on my page. So in terms of the recipe, what I am missing is the word Footloose and sequins. Now, I've already planned in my head how I'm getting Footloose onto the page. I think that the challenge was quite generous in that you could have put Footloose into the journaling, but I am going to get it into my title, so that's fine. So I'm already aware of how I'm going to do that. Oh, I also feel I should add with my cut file, I actually didn't cut that cut file on white. I cut it on black. I did cut it on white, but the white was just not working on the page. It was like the shoes were getting lost with the background. So I actually just got a black texter and coloured just the cut file section in black texter. So keep that in mind yourselves when you're doing cut files. Maybe you need a pattern paper colour you don't have. You can always just colour it in yourself with your texter. So I've pulled out the chipboard now from the Pick Me Up collection, and lo and behold, there's this beautiful stretching girl, the same as what's on the tag. Now again, I know she's a girl, but she is exercising. She's in her fitness gear. She is all about it. So it's going on the page. I think it is perfect. So it is going on. So I'm popping that girl on the page next to the shoes because I love it. And then I saw a couple of word phrases that I think went really well with the sentiment of what's on here in the chipboard. So they're going to head on to the page also. Here they come now. I just felt like the specific phrase that they said were perfect. So I really wanted to get them on. They were a little bit random, in fact, actually. They almost didn't really fit in the cluster, but I just really loved the sentiment that they said, so I was just going to make them work. So once those are on, there are 2 of them. I'm going to put one there and then another one up the top in that cluster. Then I'm going to go and get my thickers and pop on my title. I do my title off screen because it took me a little bit of time. It was a little bit fiddly, not like super fiddly. It was just a relatively long title. So I am going to work on that. And I decided to put that on. I'm sure it's an iced coffee, but it kind of just made me think about, how exhausted you are at the end of a run and that you want to smash a nice cold drink or an energy drink or something. So I just popped that drink on, even though it's probably an iced coffee. We're going to ignore the fact that it's iced coffee and just that it's a drink with icicles in it. So I put on my title, Footloose and on the fast track, and I'd almost forgotten sequins. I'd got to the end. I wish I had black sequins. That would have been amazing, but I don't, so I just put gold ones on because I needed to have sequins on the page. Now I've done that. And this is the finished product. So I definitely got everything from the recipe. So shoe ephemera, the word Footloose, sequins, 2 photos, and was that all? I think that was all, but I did it. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this process, and I hope I inspired you to get scrapping.